Darren has made that shit.
Okay, so this door is a little bit different to the other one. There's a this guide which sits in like that. I'll just have to take that out. The other one had sort of come out on its own and was sitting down in the bottom of the door there, but I think you might need to take that out to get the access to drop this window out. So most of them are the same, where a window like this, you basically have to drop it down a bit and rotate it that way and then take it out backwards like that, which I'll give a go now, but said it worked easily with the first one. I was struggling a bit then, had a bit of a closer look, and there's that extra sort of slide sitting there. So it's time to start taking these windows out of this back wall here. What it says in the book basically is to try and push the weather strip out on the other side of the steel body, and then you can just sort of push it out. That's for the windscreen, but it's the same process for these weather strips. But because the weather strip's already stuffed, I'm probably just going to break it off in a few spots just to make it easier, make sure I keep the glass in good nick. But I'll try my best to sort of try and roll it out. I'm not sure how to go with how old this rubber is, but anyway, worth giving it a go, and we'll see how we go. Might get a few tips when I go to put it back together anyway. When I've got it going now, I can almost push it by hand, but just to show you guys, basically once you get the edge going, you can just actually one by one push the screwdriver like that along. I mean, it's obviously really easy here. I can almost do it by hand, just because I've got it sort of going and started. But yeah, it's actually surprisingly easy. I sort of started doing that off in this corner, and it's starting to pop out now. So I should just be able to roll a little bit further, and then I'll be done. Sort of show it from the get-go on this one. Just get those blocks. Alright, so like I was saying, if I start on a corner here, just push it like that. Like you can see, obviously this is a smaller window, but look how just easy that is. Just push it, push it. Gotta make sure this one doesn't bloody drop. That'd be shit. And I'll just go back occasionally like that and just sort of roll it, and see that's nice and it's way, it's outside of the window now. There we go. Look at that, easy peasy. You can see the way those work, they've just got a larger flange on the outside, a smaller on the inside, and these just slip onto the windows. Pretty straightforward. This is a good book to have. It's a chassis and body repair manual. It's got a lot of actually great info in there about transmissions and this, that and whatever, and how to rebuild basically everything on the car apart from the engine. And yeah, I'll just use this for a few pointers here and there just to read. I actually, with the doors, I actually had a quick read in this, and it did actually mention removing that inner weather strip that I was talking about just previously. So I actually started having a bit of a look at some of these things now just to make my life a little bit easier for some of these parts that aren't quite as straightforward as the others. So I think I'm a bit blessed with this. All the edges of the windows have been in really good condition. This is probably the worst one, which just has a tiny bit of surface rust. In general, the top here where it goes to the roof is pretty good. There's a little bit in this corner. Down the bottom we've got a little bit to deal with. Mainly in this corner here. There's a little bit to get into here, but in general I think it's pretty good. Like, I've seen a lot worse. Seen pictures of a lot worse online. Well, that's the back wall. Next in line to get attacked is the front window. I'll just basically pull this washer stuff off and a few of the other little bits, and then pull the windscreen out, I suppose. So those came out, just had some rubber washers and these sort of like little chrome washers and these rubber seals behind them. Just stopping those coming out easily, so just had to get those out. As you probably saw, I always try and put everything back together the way that I pulled it out. So when I pull the wipers out, I'll pull it all apart, then I'll put it back together in the same order it was for storage. When I go to put it back together, I'll know. Get yourself one of these if you've got anything that involves crusty old Phillips heads. If you don't know what it is, it's an impact screwdriver. It's the old school version of the rattle gun, but it works, and it works especially good for these because it applies downwards pressure while it also applies a torque, either loosening or tightening. You can switch it over. Yeah, fantastic bit of tooling. Righto. This one was significantly stiffer and believe it or not, she cracked just then, which is a bit of a bugger, but luckily for me, I really don't think this would be a hard window for somebody to make. Yeah, it's literally just a rectangle with some rounded edges. So anyway, here's what it is. I'll keep going, but yeah, this one's way harder to get out than the other. Yeah, maybe I'll have to try and lift this up a bit or something, I don't know, but I'll keep going around and hopefully don't smash it even more. Hopefully don't smash it even more. Hopefully don't smash it even more.
Narrowness made that shoot.
Alright, so that's that stripped. You'll see in the time lapse my buddy cracked the window again, just trying to flex it a bit, but yeah, it's over there. It's still relatively intact, so that'll be easy for someone to copy. But yeah, you can see a big crack through there. I actually slipped a bit with the screwdriver and clipped that corner, and I think that's what initiated it. So when I just went and grabbed that little end and moved it a little bit, it broke. Actually not too worried, because that's actually, I think that's the only piece of glass in the whole thing that is an original. Not sure about these. See, these are OG, these windows in the side, and the rear ones were too. So anyway, that worked out all right. But yeah, sit rep on this, it looks fairly good. I'm actually very happy with some of these panels. Like obviously there's little bits of stuff loose in the corner, but that's the kind of stuff that can just blast out and paint, and it's fine. A little bit of rust up here. Once again, it's stuff that can survive. You don't have to cut any panel out or anything like that. It'll just be fine. So sort of like I talked about in one of the original videos, that's why there's a fair bit obviously rust like here in the body, and there is a fair bit of rust for me to repair, but there's nothing too hard. Like you can get these half toe boards, bits of floor pan, some over in that corner. There's a little bit going on in the corner there with sort of where it joins in, but that's okay. And then most of it that I can't get patch panels for, everything that I've seen so far, like even the back here, I should just be able to cut rectangles out. I might be naive for saying that, but I should be able to just, cut out sections and then just weld new sections in. Same with the doors. The only bit I've really on the door that you can see down the bottom there is the very bottom of it, which once again you can get reformed panels of that. Yeah, so generally it's all pretty straightforward. The only thing that's probably not is those guards that we looked at originally. I'm still trying to find some of those. Righto, next up's the steel roof. Just pull these off and then just going to give it a bit of a clean up, get some of that flaky rust off.